So for a while, I've been going to different clubs, different places to play D&D. And not just D&D, Godlike, Cyberpunk, Shadowrun, Vampire Masquerade. And I've enjoyed every one I've been to. An issue I've had was when I played D&D and Pathfinder. The issues were, there was, to me, too Tolkien based in the world building. And this is not a problem, because Tolkien is Tolkien. You know, he's the granddaddy, you could say. So, we could find other story ideas and different inspirations. And we have been getting different inspirations recently. I've seen some Stephen King based games. I've seen Slovakian and different types of unique folklore. But there's a genre of inspiration we've not touched yet, and I've been doing it myself for a while, and I've been enjoying it. I've been looking at metal for inspiration, and metal is such a unique storytelling compared to a book. Because a book, you have 500 pages. Not all books 500 pages, but you have time. You can set up and develop the stories. It's usually not abstract. It's straight to the point. Unless you're reading The Wheels of Time, it's not quite straight to the point, but you get what I mean. With metal, it's more abstract. You get depending on the type of metal. But today I'm looking at power metal for my influence. Because it's unique, it's different, and there's a lot of stories to be told through abstract lyric meanings. And my current campaign is based on a bit of a glory hammer. As you can tell by looking at them, they are very fantasy inspired. That's great. All the lyrics are enough to make stories, but let's go to someone who's been a bit not so obvious for lyrics and not so obviously fantasy inspired. And let's see if I can not butcher the spelling. Ooh. There we go, Gajora. They are a progressive metal band, and not necessarily based on stories and fantasy and messages. But you can find something. You can always find something for inspiration. So let's look at the biggest hit songs. Gajora's biggest hits. The Gift of the Guilt. Okay, Flying Whales. I'm curious. Flying Whales. Let's look at Flying Whales. Okay, we got something here. The waters of chaos have invaded all space. So let's look at the documents. Okay, the waters of chaos. Let's put a note here. Waters. Bad formatting there. Waters of chaos have invaded. I can't spell today. So what is the waters of chaos? I mean, how is water chaotic? I mean, it does follow laws of nature and laws of physics and entropy. But that's a bit boring. You know, water is chaotic by nature. But this is create a greater symbolism, great metaphor. So does the water corrupt? I can't see where this can be. Does the water corrupt? And what does it mean by invaded? Has the celestial plane that the Forgotten Realms been corrupted by the water? But I think it would be more fun if it collided with a tainted water plane. Now that's a story. So what happened? Was it a rift? Was it, suddenly it just started raining? Did the sky open in vacillations and water fell down on the ground, tainting the ground as it rained? Okay, now that's interesting. We now have a traumatic event. So it's like, okay, we've got a traumatic event. We have story, we have history, we have an event which could have affected the world. So where do we go from there? So how does it corrupt? So what if... Let's put it. Let's gotta go. Let's put some bullet marks in. And the water turns you into a monster. Okay. So, what kind of monster? Literal monster, or does it make you go into your inner darkest feelings? We could put a subline there. That's not what I wanted. I wanted the. Is it space? No, it's space from term. Yes, it. So literal monsters, like Chaos Born from 40k. Or if it's the monster inside. You give in to your greatest evil. You lose yourself to temptation. You're no longer who you are. It corrupts your soul. So we've already got ideas now. It's like, so literal monsters. Okay, that's interesting. Corrupting of soul. That's interesting. But depending what vibes do we want for this campaign? Do we want it to be psychological? Everyone's a monster. It was just we are hiding behind the faces that we display to humanity and society. Or do you want it to be more, well, that's expositional horror. We want it to be more scary and spooky about the concept of being scared of what keeps us alive, which is water. Water keeps us alive. We need water to survive. So if water is turning into monsters, that's... Ooh, okay. Let's think. What else? Okay, let's say it can mutate the body. So now we've got all this. What's the solution? If humanity is still around, how is society surviving? Okay, let's think about that. Query, if we're doing a D&D setting... Actually, no, let's do another tab here. So, obviously, the way we're surviving, so... Relics, maybe. So let's put another tab here. And some bookmarks. So, Kralix. Kralix can cure water and remove it of its poison and toxins. So, that's one way. If that's the case, surely eventually all the Kralix will go around and cure the water. So, that could be, the next crusade. A holy mission from God to go out there. Bands of clerics and paladins and warriors cleansing the seas, blessing the water so that it is holy again and no longer corrupts. Okay, so that's an idea. Ooh. But what if they can't do that? And what if they can't? We can't go out cleansing the water because there's so much of it, and it's constantly reoccurring. It's not ending, and all the water runs down is corrupted. So then, what do? Clearly, clerics still be important. Clerics could be the ones that are making water and using it to let's have listen to the theme of corruption and using it to gain power over the citizens. Now that is some dark shit. Okay, this is an idea. So I like that. So then let's look at more lyrics. This is a whole set of concepts of the story just from one line of abstract thinking. So the flood and earth again. I have to find the whales. Okay, so whales, if I was going to base it off lyrics as well, I need to have to work whales into it. Not the country. Could be the country. You never know. But obviously with the whales, not find whales, so obviously it's the animal. So, okay, so the ones that guide us to dry lands of life. I won't despair, I'll break this dark around on the heavy sea. I'll search for flight whales. So is it implying that whales are now flying? Okay, so let's go back to the notebook. So our idea of clerics creating water. So why are we doing this now? So actually, let's go back here. Flying whales migrate to safe havens of water. Okay. So then there's, of course, that could make that humanity becomes a nomadic base tribes, going with the whales, staying with them. And that could be a whole different society of people. We could have people who stay in the cities, which survived and potentially raised up by enough so that the water from the rain and the floods hasn't flooded the cities. So the city itself could have the clerics who are corrupt and no longer necessarily working in the name of God, but working for their own power and their own money and self-importance. You can have other nomadic tribes that are moving with the whales. So let's put a tab here. Let's put a little... Let's put a tab and add another... let's say nomadic tribes of civilizations. No tribes of people migrating with the whales. So that's an idea. That's definitely an idea. But why are they migrating with the whales? Because obviously they know where safe havens are. But what if something more interesting, like the biology of the whale? Whales are immune to the chaos of the water, to the waters of chaos. Which is interesting, because like, why are they immune? And let's go back to, let's put another sub-tab here. Humans are hunting whales for the oil, thinking it will protect them. Whale oil being used to hold off the chaos. Now, whales are risk of extinction. The question is, how are you hunting flying whales? So that's a whole new topic. Whales fly, so flying machines are made to hunt down the whales. So, like, we've got now a whole potential list of plot hooks, techniques that we can dive into. I can do metaphors, symbolism, and make people think. So let's go back. So back to here. So how are we surviving? So cities have adapted. To the floods. So let's look at more lyrics, because you can't go wrong with more. Okay. Yeah, so here. Like the arrow in the sky, I found myself on higher grounds from here, for I see them always in flight. That's interesting. I know I've skipped a whole verse of lyrics, but that's one of my eyes first went to. So, higher grounds, where the water has not settled, you can see the whales flying in the sky. So, maybe you have to, if you want to see them, you have to get some height. Because maybe the whales which would fly so low to the ground have been hunted. So only the whales that fly mountain heights are still around. So no longer you have these migrating whales you could see from the ground taking you to safety. And now this bit, I find curious. Beneath the seas I searched and had a different view of us on Earth, the sinking ship of men. But it's beyond the stars. I found a place where they were, and they finally came to light. Maybe someone's tried to go under the waters and they're trying to find if there's a deeper secret, deeper, darker meaning behind the chaos. And in Percy's found sunk ships, men and monsters fused with the ships, maybe. You don't know. And you could see, I don't know, it's interesting what you could see. And it finally came to the light. And that's where it's going to be abstract. But that's why I love metal. Huge tunnels ends in light, like banks of clouds they gather, see massive shapes of flesh, slimming giants in the clear. The mightiest comes to me, I'm on the wing wide open, they teach me how to fly, slowly moving in the air. Maybe that some of the whales are like lion dragons and stuff like that. Turtle dragons, that's what I'm thinking of. Or lion turtles from Avatar. They have some sentience, the intelligent creatures. Some of them can be well, not all. I wouldn't say all of them will have intelligence. Some of them, because this can put a nice dilemma, like moral dilemma, that they start coming across sentient and intelligent whales, ones that you can have logic and have conversations with you. So then they found out they've been hunting these creatures when they actually are intelligent. And these whales are now trying to teach him the error of his ways and fly. And join them in the land of the whales, which could be Wales. Fun fact, Wales is named after Wales. And this is where I'll come to the end of the song. But, we've already had a lot of ideas here. We have potential story hooks. So where do we set the story? Do we set it... This is just world building. So of the campaign. So So where do we set the campaign? Do we set it at the beginning, where the panic, the chaos and the terror of the water falling down? Or we set it at near the beginning, where we went back to a weird, dishonoured kind of society, where we are focused on whaling again, going hunting whales? Or do we have it where the whales are now gone extinct, and our extinction is now guaranteed, and only to blame are us? And now this is actually our true apocalypse. Well, I'm going to end it now because I've got ideas, and simple as that. I've looked at a metal song, and I've got ideas. I mean, there's so many bands out there we could look at. I mean, Iron Man. The story about a man who saved the world, and at the cost of his own life. And he stood there watching the world he saved as they mocked him. They ridiculed him. And then when he woke up and can move again, he has his vengeance for all the chaos and bullying received in his state. And he becomes the threat that he tried to save. And what else could we do? Metal bands, what's I think? I mean, we get some more conventional metal, like Ailstorm. I mean, I know some of their songs are just about drinking and having fun in Mexico, but Curse of Captain Morgan. I mean, this is a whole different mindset we could go for. I mean, this is literally a story you could use. I think the moral of this is stories can be taken from anywhere. You don't have to use fantasy books. You don't have to just use the standard means of inspiration. Inspiration is where we find it. Anything can inspire you to make a campaign. And just let your imagination free, and hopefully you can find a good idea. It's been Warlord as always. Hope your sessions are long and your crits are plenty. See you next time.